Given that I am a student of counseling and I am not a licensed therapist, the following video is used solely for the purpose of academic practice and training. Video is for educational purpose. Hello.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. And you?
I'm good too.
Great.
So what would you like to talk about today? What's on your mind?
We could talk about relationships, Patsy, and
How has it been with her? Can you give us a little update on what's Patsy and what's going on with her and her daughters?
Patsy is a friend of mine. She'll be 89 in April. She is now in a nursing home. She's immobile, and she has a PEG tube, which is a feeding tube, and she also has a trach. She can't speak, but she understands what I'm saying. She knows who I am. She's very cognitive with me, but not with others. Her daughter lives in California, and her son lives in Hawaii.
And how do you feel about them not being involved more?
You know, it's been hard at times when Patsy is when she's in the hospital or she's having a hard time, and I don't judge their life. It's just it's hard on me emotionally to go in and see her like that, immobile, and that only happened over a 1-year period of time. She was completely mobile, able to do whatever she was able to do. She would feed herself, and within 1 year she went from doing everything to bedridden. And so it's been really hard on me to visit her, twice a week, and I can't do anything for her. So it's not judging them, because they have their own lives and they can't do anything. Yes. I mean, if they were here, they just sit with her like I do. We just sit and I kind of talk to her, get in her face, and so she can see what I'm saying. But it's just sitting there, and lately she's been checking out more of sleeping more, and she'll 5 or 10 minutes and she's asleep. So it's hard to see someone wither away like that was so independent. It's emotionally draining, because I am unable to help her. Yes. I can't do anything for her. It's hard to get her out of bed. So they don't even do that anymore. They do give her a bath 3 days a week, and they dress her in pajamas, not even in clothes anymore. So that I just know how she feels, and she feels degraded, and she used to have a smile on her face all the time, and the smiles are diminishing.
Sad.
So it's very heartening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you seeing the treatment of her right now by the aid workers and all the nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that how to handle that situation?
Yeah, she gets multiple bruising, and when you're that old, your skin is so very thin, and but they're pretty rough, and every time I go, there's another bruise or another open wound, and they've dropped her countless times, and I'm sure it's not on purpose, but I'm not been there to know that. And just assuming.
They deny the
Yeah.
to her.
And when I question that, they're like, what are you talking about?
Yes.
And having to go and have them
But-
do a report on that wound. Um,
How do you handle the frustration with that? People not acknowledging your,
Yeah, it's the accountability, right? So if the person that did it, I go straight to the manager and say, I take pictures and say, this is new, how did this happen? Of course, it's, we don't know. Like, I'd like to find out, and when you find out, give me a call,
yes,
because I wanna know how that happened, when that happened, because that's fresh within 2 or 3 days.
yes.
And like when she went to the hospital this last time, they dropped her. She had a huge bruise on her head, a bulge in her arm. Her arm, the lower part of her arm was all tore up. Her leg was tore up all the way down the bottom.
Yes.
And she's in pain.
Yes. But she can't express it.
And she can't express it, and she can't move. So she can barely move her hands. She cannot extend her hand any farther than this. That's her mobility, is from here to here. That's it. She can move her head from right to left, and nothing more than that. And it's that when she was in the hospital, all those wounds, I was like, you need to check those. I want you to, whoever dropped her, it was a transfer from the implants to the gurney. And, she was in a mess, but she didn't complain.
Okay.
She didn't complain one
That's good.
thing about it. I mean, has that strength of, it's okay.
Yes.
Things happen.
Yes.
And she doesn't pass blame on anyone. She's one to look up to, of consciousness of, if that's the way you're gonna be, just bedridden and not immobile, and still have a smile on your face and not judge anyone. It's a very wow factor for me to be in her. It's teaching me to be in her position and loving everyone around her, even though things like that happen.
That is profound that you see that in her. She's actually teaching you while her presence brings you the knowledge, the wisdom there.
Yeah.
She's showing you there. It's good that you see that.
It's hard, I mean, I see that, and I love her for that, and that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going is her strength, her love that she has for the higher power.
Yes.
Yeah, her work isn't finished, whatever it is.
Yeah.
She's still here.
She's still hanging on.
Yeah.
For something.
For
reason.
something.
And so you said her daughter was in California. Did she offer to bring her to California? Her mother?
We had talked about it a couple times. Thought that we could probably Patsy's never flown. She doesn't like to fly. She wouldn't want to get in. She calls it a metal bird that she didn't want to get into. But we thought about maybe we could talk her into it and getting her out there, or even
someone driving out there too.
driving out there was like, that's a 3-4 day trip with her. She, at one time when Patsy was still mobile and verbal, she wanted to go, but it just never fell in place to where it would work out. And Patsy was okay with that. But it was talked about for a long time, but it never worked out.
Okay. So how do you find a time from your busy schedule to be able to give time to her? Is there priority wise?
Yeah, I mean,
Prioritize?
I've known him for, almost 20 years, her and her husband, and he died alone.
Oh.
And I remember that day I was picking my parents up from the airport, and I told him I would see him that afternoon after I got back, and he died before I got back from the airport. And that always really kind of hit hard for me, to die alone with just workers you don't even know. And Patsy, she needed a ride up there. So I kind of went through the emotions of guilt of that, but I know that's what he wanted. He wanted, if Patsy wasn't there, it was best that he just died like alone.
Yeah, he wanted it that way.
Yeah, he wanted it that way. And, I don't want Patsy to die alone. And she's like a friend of mine. She's, like a mother figure. She brings me the strength. Still, like we were just saying, I'm learning from her.
Yes.
Even in the position she's in,
Yes.
I'm still learning from her. And, sometimes I go at 11, 12 o'clock at night when I get off work, or, I go real early in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever I can, and I don't have a specific time, I just walk in, and it's good because the workers never know when I'm coming in. When I go in there and she has urine all the way up her back, it's not a good thing.
Yes.
And it's usually on the weekends.
Yes.
And so I try to go Saturdays in the evening, late evening, because they don't change them. They may change her maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, but they don't change her after that. And so I like to go on Saturday evenings late, right
Surprise
before,
them.
and just make sure she's changed.
Yeah, hold them accountable.
Because she has, she gets infections
Yes.
on her bottom.
Yes.
Because she's just in one position most of the time, and it has to be changed
Yes.
to keep that the wounds at bay so they don't get worse. So that's hard for me not to be able to take care of her like that. I mean, if I had it my way, I'd have her here in this house and take care of her and let her just be here and have her friends and family come here and whenever they wanted to, and I would get rid of that feeding tube with all, it's like Ensure, and I would make my own stuff and put it in there so it's more healthier for her. But that's my own personal view on that. But it's not in my control of doing that, and she is in good care. It's just a nursing home. They're all understaffed, and they're all doing the best they can. Even though it's your family member or friends, you want better care for them.
Yes.
So I understand that.
It seems like you're attached to her many lives before
Yeah,
this one.
yeah. I'm sure we have walked many paths in a spiritual journey together, and she was a leader and a guide to help me in structure in a narrow path. Yes.
Yes. I see how you feel. Because my grandma, actually, when she died, passed away, she wasn't alone. I mean, she waited for me to come to see her first. She wanted me to be okay with it, that she was leaving.
Yeah.
I see that you're going to happen the same way with her, Patsy, too.
Yeah.
She wants you to be there before she goes.
Yeah. She's, cognitive, and her health is really good. They test her every so often, her blood. I mean, she gets urinary tract infections, and she gets pneumonia like once a year because she's always had allergies. But other than that, they don't have her on anything but a mucus thinner and an aspirin.
Well,
That's it.
That's unusual.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I think, you know, when she first got there, she was on just aspirin, mucus thinner, and a couple other things, and we got her off the other things. And then somewhere in the something happened, and a nurse came in and said, "Oh, she needs this, 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 and this." And Jean, her daughter, and myself, we didn't know anything about it. It just, and then one night I was there and they gave her all this medicine. I'm like, what is that for?
She's never had it before.
Yeah, I'm like, what, that's, are you sure that's hers? Hold on, wait, what is all that? And I had them contact her daughter and let her know what all those medicines were for. And they got her off all of them and back to where she's just on aspirin and mucus thinner, because they just wanted her
Be sedated.
And be in a zombie mode.
Yes.
And we weren't going to have that. And so thank you, you know, for just paying attention.
Yes.
And being just conscious of what she needs. And so.
Thank you for your time talking with me for the class.
Oh, absolutely, anytime. I appreciate it.